What's up, everyone? We are back, another video, and this one is going to be a little bit different, an OOTP 25 wish list. So, over the past few weeks, I've kind of been putting together all of my thoughts on this year's game and kind of where things were improved and where things have gotten worse. So, in this video, I'm kind of going to go through what I would like to see in the next version of the game, which would be OOTP 25, and some things that can be improved on that were issues this year. And yeah, we'll kind of go through each one and talk about some more than others. But let's start out with some, I guess, more obvious things. The AI logic. Okay, let me start off by saying I love this game. I don't want to bash it at all, but there are things that can be improved. I've been playing this game for 10 years, and I've seen some aspects improve a ton, and you can't even recognize the game from like OTP 15, but other things have seemed to fall back, and I think that AI logic has gotten worse over the past few years, especially with a few things. One being trades. You'll always see like Jason Dominguez getting flipped within 2 years for some like random career minor leaguers, and it just I understand there's probably something in the code that tells these teams we don't need this player, so let's get rid of him. But you don't trade a guy with like a top prospect for a bunch of crap, and that seems to happen a lot in this version of the game. You'll just see crazy trades, so that's pretty obvious. Don't have to go too much farther into that. I would just like to see the AI logic improved. Trade offers have gotten much better over the years, but would still like to see some better ones. The ones that the computer proposes to the user. This is my biggest disappointment in this year's game. I don't know if anyone else shares in the sentiment, but the AI promotion demotion logic and the way that they use their prospects is absolutely game breaking for me. So, what do I mean by that? So, I have an example here. Jack Rucker is just a random player that I found. He's one of the best players in the league, but he played in rookie ball for 2 full seasons after being drafted. Crushed it the second year, and then was promoted to A. Like, that's fine. Crushed A ball, and then they had him repeat A for an entire season. And then they put him right to the majors, skipping high A, double A, and triple A. And this just made no sense. This happens all the time with these players. They'll skip all these levels, and then they'll get to the majors, and the AI demotes them to high A. And, there's just something broken about how the AI manages their minor leaguers. And while Jack Rucker's destroying A-ball, I'm trying to do this the right way and have like these guys coming up from rookie ball, getting their first taste of A, and they're freaking facing Jack Rucker down there. So my teams are getting destroyed in the minor leagues while the AI is mismanaging these players. My players aren't developing. And that's why I'm saying it's game breaking, because my teams are consistently not like horrible. They're typical A-ball teams where you have a mix of, I don't know, high floor guys who are just chilling down there as minor league depth, and then you have guys coming up from rookie ball or guys who just got drafted. And my teams are always like have a winning percentage of like 30%, and there's really nothing I can do about it. I try to change the age limits and stuff, but this just keeps happening. So enough ranting about that. I've gotten my point across. This just it breaks the game for me, honestly. But anyway, extensions this is more of just a funny one. It's because it's improved a lot and it's not really an issue after launch, but at launch you were getting stuff like this. This is just one example. Adley Rushman signing it says it down here, a 5-year deal worth $482 million in 2028. This isn't like in the distant future where contracts are typically in 9 digits. This is like he was making $104 million in 2030, which is just absurd. So I don't know if that's to do with the coding of, these players have this demand, so the team automatically gives it to them when it's a superstar player. I wrote up here, this wasn't the most recent patch that I did this. This was in my Rocky series or Twin series. I think it was the Rocky series, but I started that a couple months after launch. Like, it wasn't right after it was released. When it was released, it was more like this: 8 years, $83 million, and what is this? It was probably 2034. Which again, like, yeah, it's a little bit farther into the future, and he was the best player in baseball, but this is just an absurd contract. So, again, a little bit game breaking, because then the AI is forced to trade every other player because he's taking up half the payroll. And I would just like to see extensions cleaned up a little bit. It was much better as the year went on, but at launch it was unplayable. Free agency, kind of same story. Like, just the logic that they use. This is less of an issue because in real life GMs do screw up and they give bad players money, and it's not crazy, but I would just like to see them continue to try to improve the AI free agency logic. And then the Rule 5 draft, this has come out, has been the biggest improvement since the early days that I was playing, where there would typically be top 50 prospects sitting in the Rule 5 draft at 22 years old, just waiting to get picked off by another team, and no other team would pick them, which is the most interesting part. But they would just be left for me to take. And over the years, I put in rules for myself where I can't take guys under 25 to kind of combat this. But I would just like to see them continue to work on that, because it does still happen time to time where, like, prospects that shouldn't be there are there. Then we're going to hop to another topic. This is kind of on the player side. Young contract player demands. This was much more of an issue at launch. You'd be able to lock up like a top prospect, like 15 years of an AAV of like $10 million. It feels like it got better, but I would still like to see that become more realistic, and maybe these young players won't negotiate with you until they have some experience, or I don't know, some way to fix this, because it was an issue. I would like to see more storylines as well. I know there's, guys breaking their legs, jumping off a trampoline, or getting in a car crash or something, and getting injured. Or like, I like the one where he goes and joins like the jiu-jitsu and comes back and doesn't want to play anymore or something. But I would like to see more diverse ones, not the same ones we've been seeing for 10 years. I know this would never happen, but I would love to see PED bus. Like, a guy just has crazy stats one year and then he gets suspended for PEDs. I think that'd be hilarious. I know now, if the game's licensed by MLB, they would never go for this, because obviously PEDs are not a good look for their sport, and that just wouldn't happen. But paternity leave would be a cool one too, just to add in a little small thing. I don't know. A couple other things that I would like to see added. We'll get to the development list in a second, but default setup of minor leagues. Try to combat that issue with having players playing out of the level that they should be at. And this might be my fault too. Like, I might, so I set roster limits of age. So I think it's like 24 for A, 25 for high A. And maybe that does force players to play at the wrong level, but that's how it is in real life. Like, there's limits of service time, I think, at each level until double A. Double A is whatever. Double A and triple A are free game. But for high A and A, you have to have under a certain service time in baseball to be at those levels. And I try to combat that. I wish it was just by default, like, instead of me having to go in and change it. That would just be a little bit easier and more realistic for everyone else that's kind of getting into the game too, and kind of help them along with that. And then an extra player for doubleheaders. This is a real thing. This is a thing in real life. It's been a thing for years. I don't know why it's not in the game. Maybe it's just an oversight. I don't know, but that should be in the game. And then development lists. So this is a real life thing where, I don't know, Jack Leiter was on it earlier in the year. There's been tons of players that have gone on this. Basically, they don't take up a roster spot at their level. but they're still in the organization, but they're not technically at any level. They're just on the development list, so they can work out on the side with the team, and they're still rostered by the team, but not on an official roster. But anyway, obviously this would be really weird to implement in the game, but I think it'd be cool. Make it a list like for 30 days. You can put the player on. And there's like a small chance, like a dice roll chance, that a potential rating could increase. Like maybe this stuff can go from 50 to 55. Nothing crazy, because that would obviously break the game. And while they're on this list, they can't add any overall ratings to their players. So maybe they would turn off like their TN talent change randomness for like for while they're on the list, but their potential ratings could increase or maybe decrease too. I'm not sure what they would do with that, but I don't know. I think it'd be interesting, a little something new to add and kind of make development a little more in our control, I guess, because all of it's random, obviously. Well, most of it's random. You can do things to decrease your chances of a player busting, but at the end of the day, it is random, and I like that part of the game, but this is a small thing that can kind of turn the odds in your favor if you're good at it. And then league setup, a couple other things. So like Arizona Fall League, like sending some of your prospects that you want to get another look at or get some more stats on, maybe a killer year at like, I don't know, maybe a 25-year-old in AA, and like you just want to see what he can do against other top guys. Maybe you think it was a fluke and you can send him to the Arizona Fall League and get 100 at-bats there. And I don't know, something interesting that I know you can do this. You can add leagues and stuff, and you can make an Arizona Fall League, but it'd be cool if it was just in the game. For guys like me who don't want to go and set up a freaking league, that just sounds like so much work. And then some maybe some college or high school showcases. So I don't know. I know there's like high school showcases where you throw a fastball and you see maybe there's some stats when you draft a player. So my thinking is when you go to the draft, you're looking at ratings, and that's pretty much it. You can look at the stats, but they're just nonsensical. It's like this high school pitcher gave like 5 runs during the year. Like, what does that mean? That means nothing. It's nonsensical. I guess the college stats mean a little bit more, but I've never seen anyone actually look at the college stats or the high school stats. And I know it gives you, the ratings you can go off of, and that's fun. And it is easy to do, but maybe if there was like a high school showcase where maybe the top guys go there and you see what their maybe bench press is, or like it's like the NFL Combine basically for high schoolers and college guys too. Like you could do this for both of them, but high school guys especially, because you have nothing to work off of, and there are showcases and stuff. So maybe a select number of high schoolers can go to a showcase and you can get that info and that data and use that in your selections instead of just looking at ratings. College, I mean, that'd be great for college too, but it's a little bit easier to draft college guys, I should say. And then like the Cape Cod League for the same reason, just to get more data and more stuff to look at besides just ratings. So yeah, because it is tough to draft high schoolers, and they're not really projectable in real life or in this game. And most of them do bust. So to give yourself more of a chance, and look at some other things, maybe like wingspan, or I don't know, kind of like the NFL Combine. They do this stuff in real life, so it's not crazy. But yeah, that's about it. This is one other thing that ticked me off so much this year, I had to put it in this video. The default screen. So like when you're going around here, actually I have the game up here. Let me pull this up. So like when I go clicking between these, like it'll show you, okay, so this works now because I already did it, but it'll show you, like, sometimes it'll show you AAA stats when you go to click on it, or all levels, and I'm looking at these stats, and I'm like, why is it showing, like, why does this dude have, like, why does PJ Orlando have 39 home runs? And then I'm like, oh, this is showing me all levels, even though I'm at the major league level. I just wish that wasn't a thing, because that has never been an issue, and I hate it so much. It's even the same for, like, when I go down to one of these levels, it won't show me the AAA stats. It'll show me, like, sometimes show me major league stats, or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It happens once in a while. It's not a huge deal, but would like to see that issue resolved. So yeah, that's about it. So comment below if you have any other things that you would like to see in next year's game. Definitely missed some key things, and if someone does see this video and they like some of these ideas, maybe they get put in the game, maybe they don't. But I hope at least this stuff is out there, and if there's stupid ideas, let me know. But thank you very much for watching. We will see you guys next time. Peace.